Welcome back to the channel. Today we are back in the shop, but we're not working on Yoshi or the 300ZX project. We're back on the drift car. Last year we just got it running, bare minimum, just to get on the track. This year I'm hoping we can make it a little bit more functional. First on the list is we're going to strip the entire interior, take all of the wiring out, get the dash out, get the seats out, get everything out. We're going to sand the whole interior and get it painted. Prior to that, we are going to pull the valve covers off. I'm going to get them over to A to Z Welding. Cooper is going to weld a new bung on the fill port because the cap keeps leaking whenever I'm full lock, and it gets oil all over the headers and it tries to burn the car to the ground. So we're going to get those over to Cooper. He's going to actually weld that on and powder coat them for us, and we're going to start tearing this thing apart. While Cooper's got the valve covers, welding on the new bung and getting them powder coated, we're gonna hop in the car, start pulling everything out, and get it prepped for paint. So we got the car in the air, we're gonna pull out the bolts for the seats. Oh my goodness, this hub is getting a little sticky. Now that we got both seats out, we're going to strip the wiring, get the dash out, and seal up the cabin with some pieces of metal, and then get it prepped for paint. If you haven't noticed, this is just a box that the tablet came in. Just cardboard. Tablet out. Check. This is the fan. Yeah, I did that. Well, we won't need that where we're going. Nice. I cannot wait to see how simple this wiring is going to be. No idea what that is. Next. Oh, no shit, bro. So I had a squirrel living in my garage, and it took all of my dog food, and it was putting it in places, you know, what squirrels do, and it filled this support bar with dog food. That's all dog food. Snip a snip. Nicky Bobby came to hang out.
Howdy.
Helped me sand. Got all the wires out. Let's get the battery box. We're gonna time lapse the sanding because it's gonna take absolutely forever. What was that?
We keep shit from getting up in those lines.
Good progress on the sanding. Got to do all of it still. Got the gas tank out. Well, Nick did. Bash bar, battery box, everything's coming out. We're actually going to chop this out kind of crudely so I can stand there and then sand the rest of it in. All right, Nick's got to go. He's got a job.
Yeah.
That actually pays him money, but got all of it sanded enough. Now I gotta clean it and find some paint. Oh! So I got the majority of it sanded. Still have to wipe it down with some acetone or some kind of alcohol. Then we're going to go find an acrylic paint or some kind of durable paint that we can roll on. Don't really want to spray it, but because I feel like the spray won't adhere very well. I also had to pick up the valve covers, and they look sweet. Can't wait to show you those things. Alright, so it's been 2 days since I painted it. I wanted to make sure it's set up really good. Hopefully it didn't run or bubble or blister or whatever, because this will be the first time I see it. Oh shit. It looks good. So before we get into the car and start putting the seats back in and doing all the interior wiring and stuff like that, I'm gonna let it cure probably another day. But for now, we're gonna get the valve covers on because I wanted to see how they look. These things came out so sweet. This was kind of our third choice in color, but I'm glad we went with it. It looks amazing. I don't know if you saw, but Cooper actually laser engraved my logo in it. And plus, got a new cap. This is kind of the whole reason we did this, but powder coating's a nice touch. Oh yeah. Oh brother. Might have to get remote mounted coil packs just to look at my valve covers. Might have to. Alright, as you can see, I got the dash in, made some metal pieces to block off the cluster, and I've made the center console where I'm going to put the switch panel out of some stainless steel. I'm going to get this secured. I don't know what I'm going to do with the center console yet, but I'm getting this ready so that I can get the car running. Make sure we make round 1 for Whiskey Garage. I got to make more plates for all the holes along the kick panels and for the seatbelt holes because I don't want to have any tire debris or smoke coming to the cabin, which is going to happen anyway. After that, we will get the firewall made out of cardboard and take it down to Cooper's shop so he can cut it out on his CNC plasma. It's going to be a 16 gauge most likely, hopefully stainless steel. If it's mild, it's okay. We'll probably just throw some paint on it. And then we got to put the windows in. Time is ticking. We got the switch panel in. It's going to be zip screwed for now. I'm going to swap it over to a rib nut system once I get everything installed. We're going to change gears and get into the back of the car. I need to get the template made for the firewall so I can get it to Cooper so he can cut it on the CNC plasma tomorrow. It's going to make my life a lot easier, especially since I'm using a 16 gauge steel back here. I don't know if it's going to be stainless or mild steel. It's whatever Cooper has laying around the shop, actually. So, gonna get that made up, and oh man, I have a run in the paint. Same spot, both sides. Son of a. All right. Is that complicated enough for you? I gotta trim it here for the glass, but it goes in, do that, and it fits nice. Just gotta trim that, get this round. I got some polycarbonate I'm gonna be using for the windows, but we're gonna take this template down to Cooper's shop, get it onto the plasma table, get this thing done. Stop it. Oh, look at that. Let's go. We made it back to the shop, got the template. As you can see, was our final product. We took tape and outlined the stencil, and we took a photo of it, and we used a program Cooper has to take the perimeter of it, and then we just scaled it to the correct size, and we ended up with this weird shape. But now I don't have to cut it out. All I gotta do is segment this, fold it over, break this side, and the bottom to mount it, and get it painted, and throw it in. Sounds easy, but it's definitely gonna take a long time. All right, so we've got it in. It's a little tight. Probably gonna need to trim a couple things on the corners here. This profile got a little skewed, so we'll have to come down straight, bring it in so this comes in. This side's pretty good. Just needs to be recessed a little bit. It's a little too tall, a little tight there, and a little bit of tweaking. Oh yeah. Oh. While we wait for that to dry, we're going to get the measurements off this and start figuring out how to build the cradle for the fuel cell. So here's what we've got. These are 1/2 inch plate that we just use the CNC plasma to cut out because no one wants to drill holes in 1/2 inch plate, right? It actually doesn't line up with the diff, which is weird. The diff is shifted to the left about, I would say, 1/4 or maybe 1/2 inch. So we lined it up with the shock towers, got the center point, found 10 1/4, 10 1/4. So we have a 1/4 inch bigger than the actual unit itself, so it's not squeezed in there. And then I'll put a gasket in between the cradle and the fuel cell, just to create a little barrier between the chassis and the fuel cell itself. But I don't know how these are gonna be attached. I think I'm gonna cut this lip off, secure these, and weld nuts to the back. Is my thought. Welding 1/2 inch plate to 20 gauge metal. Change of plans. I do not like this metal. This is like 22 gauge, maybe a little thicker, but 20 gauge or 18 gauge or something, but it's super weak and there's nothing behind it. I tapped it with a hammer and you can see it indent very easily. These frame rails are actually backed with maybe a 1/4 inch or some kind of metal. You hit it with a hammer, and I have a 5-pound sledge with a point on it, so it'll actually indent soft metals or thin metals, and it won't indent this. So we are going to cut the back of the car off, cut the frame rails off, put the plates just like this, get them level, and then we'll put a bar from each side, and then we'll build the cradle in the center. If we mount it to this and it hits, or if I hit a wall or something like that, this is just gonna bend. Like the whole cradle, the cradle probably won't bend, but the whole back of the car will be bent up and that fuel cell will be a little susceptible to damage. So we don't wanna do that. I've never cut the back of a 240 off, so this is gonna be new to me. Alright, so we got them cut off. We're going to get the fuel cell in here now. We've got rust converter on all of the rusty and raw metal areas. You can see here there's an 1/8 inch plate inside this rail, And I'm actually going to cap these off and then install the plate on the side. And that should be more than rigid enough to hold the fuel cell safely. See that? Shoo! Level. Let's go. Got the plate on, gonna get it bolted up, and we'll start measuring for the center piece. It's a 2x4 bar that will encapsulate the fuel cell. Hey, chill out. So we got the bar in, not fully welded. I just tacked it a couple times. Square with the chassis. The chassis is not level, so I just plumbed it with the bubble a little to the right. Should be close enough. It's not like we're building a rocket ship here. Now I'm gonna cut the rest of the bar and fit the square around the top of the fuel cell and put the 1.5 inch bars around the bottom, and we should be good to go. Okay, so this is how this works. Sketchy. See that? Phew, everybody was, oh, that idiot. Put it on the ground. Whatever. Get better at doing things. Oh shit, man, we are in the money. It's not finish welded, but I can take it out so we can build the rest of it on the ground. Now we have to take the 1.5 inch square, gonna build the lower cage on it and set the height of the tank with the lower cage, and then throw it back in, check it, come bring it back out and finish weld it. Got it painted, it's outside drying. While we're waiting for it to dry, I'm gonna get the firewall tacked in. Hopefully it still fits. And then we'll paint it, and then I'm hoping that will dry soon enough so we can slap that back in and start getting the interior reinstalled. Whoa. This is the right way? Yeah. Oh my gosh. Just scratching the new paint, you gotta love that. Look at that fit though. We've got it stitch welded in, so we're gonna take some seam sealer and get it sealed up, and then wait for it to dry and come back and get it painted. Here it is. Some of you are probably wondering, how does one install the cage by themselves? And simple. And I'll show you. You get in here, get this thing over here, get a couple bolts ready, pick it up, and hold it from the center, support it, pop that through, okay, 1, 2, that's not even threaded, she's just sitting there. So there you have it. We got the firewall done. We've got the fuel cradle installed. All we gotta do is put the tank in and get it strapped down and plumb the lines. Other than that, we gotta do the whole interior, all the wiring, and every little detail, and possibly paint it. So that'll be it for this video. If you enjoyed the build, continue watching these videos. The next video will be the interior and the wiring and possibly paint. I was hoping to get it wrapped with a livery prior to the first round. I don't think I'm going to have enough time to get it done. So we're opting for paint, hopefully. I don't know if I'm going to have enough time. It's next weekend, so that's going to take me all of this weekend to get it done, and then hopefully throughout the week prior to the race get everything else done. Leave a link to the video of this car running at last year's Whiskey Garage competitions. Keep in mind that was my first year driving a race car.